listeners, and welcome back to another episode of our Thoughts segment. We get a little bit deeper on concepts, on thought processes, and deeper overall talking points. In today's episode, I want to talk about loss. Let's understand it from the perspective that is often neglected. Not the dramatic Instagram caption kind, but the real stuff where you put everything on the line and you don't walk away with the trophy. This episode is about why that doesn't mean you've lost. Not if you're paying attention, not if you are still in the game. Unfortunately, a lot of us put the idea that losing is simply not walking away with the win on the day. In sports like bodybuilding, understanding that you can win regardless of the outcome is one of the greatest self-development tools that you'll ever learn. See, the real high performers, they don't measure a loss just by the result. They measure it by whether or not they stopped learning. If you walked off stage, out of the business pitch, or away from a situation with lessons instead of excuses, to us, you are ahead. You didn't lose, you just leveled up quietly, where otherwise people would have perceived a loss and defeat. A loss with no reflection is wasted. A loss with reflection is a shortcut to mastery. You can't lose if you're willing to debrief honestly, quickly, and effectively. If you have established feedback loops and feedback systems or SOPs that allow you to learn in real time, you can never walk away from a loss and assume that it is losing. You can walk away from a loss with lessons and life-changing perspectives that will alter how you do the very next thing following that defeat. With that reframing in mind, you can never truly walk away and lose. What worked? What didn't work? What would I change next time? That process makes you better the next time that you get into that arena. And that's what a lot of people skip. They get the emotions, they get the reactivity, they get the upset, they get the defeat, and they walk away with their heads down. Those that seem to improve over time understand that each one of those losses is a lesson to improve and get better at the very next match that you're in, the very next arena that you're in, the very next game that you're in. The important thing to remember is that not every season is for winning. Some are for building the engine that wins later. Some preps are there to reveal where you break, where you leak, where your belief system isn't watertight. But that's the season that builds the one where you win. In sports like bodybuilding, one of the best things you can understand is that for a lot of people, you will lose your way to eventually succeeding. You're not going to get that genetic freakish season where you walk in and take away 5, 10 medals in your first year. That may come eventually. But if you go into your first season expecting that, you've set yourself up for the wrong outcomes. Most people don't win because they quit before the build is complete. That is the problem. Can you do this same thing year on year after year, defeat after defeat, and continue to keep your head up and learn the lessons that it's trying to teach you so that you can come back that one time and get it right? You may lose 99 times, but all you have to do is get it right that one time, and it makes all the difference. To us, you only truly lose when you lie to yourself or you quit completely because of the defeat. That is the only way in which the definition of loss applies to you in sports like bodybuilding or the development of life like business. When you call a half effort a full effort, when you say, I did my best, but you know you didn't. If you can stand there and say, I gave everything and still didn't win, that's not failure, it's feedback. That becomes a loop of reflection, honest accountability, and information and data generating that will allow you to improve the next time you get on stage, the next time you get in the ring, the next time you get into that deal. There are chances for you to learn via feedback, and feedback in this scenario is a weapon. It's important to understand when it comes to concepts like this, when it comes to points like this, you don't win every season. You can't win every single show. You won't always win every single time you're on stage. But if you don't quit and you don't lie, then what's important and what's reality is that you'll come back with more clarity, more resilience, and more reasons why you are not done yet. The scoreboard doesn't always tell the whole story. Execution does, effort does, intensity does, accountability does, but the scoreboard won't always tell you the truth. especially in subjective games like business, in sports like bodybuilding. There is a lot to be taken away from that can be perceived as a win, regardless of whether or not you place on the podium. And if you can learn, if you can truly learn from every single one of those interactions and experiences, then that's always a form of winning, and you have never technically lost. The only time that you will walk away and feel like a loser, the only time that you have truly lost in the sport, is if you take that defeat, bury your head, and pretend that there was nothing that you could have done better. There's nothing that you could have improved, and you should have just won outright because politics got involved. Sure, that may be the case sometimes, but it's very rare. The reality is there is just something else that you could have done that will put you in a better position, or that next time you need to improve to come back bigger and stronger. And that's it. Take those lessons and run with them, and you'll never truly lost in the sport or in life. And that is the important message, the take-home point of this episode. For us, and the foundational principles of the matter mentality is that no one escapes failure, but the way that you respond to it defines the future that you're going to have. You fall forward, audit hard, and never waste the pain of losing. Eventually, that pain turns into winning.